In this video, I'll be sharing some of my best bets for this Saturday's action in college basketball. And I gotta talk a little bit about that Super Bowl that just happened. Ready, set, bet.
Oh, let's get ready to gamble!
Yo, welcome back. I am Sports Dave, your BettorOff ambassador, and today I'm gonna try and pick up where I left off last time when I gave out some college basketball picks. My last video that I gave out NCAA picks, we went 4-1. So let's see if I can help fatten up some more bankrolls. Here on the BettorOff channel, we keep the sports betting content coming for every major sport. In fact, my buddy Jason Mattis from Winning Bets just shared one of his picks for the English Premier League. That game happens on Saturday. If you want to check that out, just look for this thumbnail right here. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel and tap on that bell to stay on top of the action with us. Tapping on that bell is almost equally as important as subscribing because the content we share is usually time sensitive. In fact, we just put out a video explaining the importance of shopping for and getting the best odds. Tapping the bell will make sure you receive notifications when we upload new videos, because watching these videos after the games have already started doesn't really do anyone any good. Speaking of games that have already happened, Super Bowl 56 was an interesting game. Actually, let me rephrase that. It started to get interesting around halftime. You see, because it was around halftime that I was finally enlightened to the fact that I fall into the demographic of people that corporate America wants to sell to. AKA, I am officially old now because that's what I listened to in my adolescence. For a second, I thought Super Bowl halftime people just all of a sudden got way cooler. Nope, just turns out I'm just old. I imagine that this is how some people felt when they let the Rolling Stones perform at halftime years ago. I also learned a lesson in inflation and that gravity is not Biddy's friend. But as for the actual game, the first half, the Rams appeared to be in full control, but the second half got off to a very interesting start. Now, I've seen some pretty big missed calls by a referee crew, but never this bad during a Super Bowl. I mean, even the Bengals players looked around at each other like, what just happened? I mean, after the play, Joe Burrow looked like someone who was just handed too much change at the register and he just put it in his pocket and walked out the door. From that point, I just kept wondering if and when the referee crew was going to try and right the ship and do a makeup call to balance out the register basically. So sure enough, when the Rams needed it the most on the final drive of the game, they came through with flying colors. Do I think it was right that they did that? Well, no, not necessarily. The refs are supposed to call an impartial game and not let one call affect another. I guess you could say, two wrongs don't make a right. But at the end of the day, I'm not mad at the outcome because I do think that the better team won. And for the record, not taking anything away from Cooper Kupp here, he played a hell of a game and he made all the big plays when they mattered, but Aaron Donald was the real MVP of that game. There are just some things that don't show up on the stat sheet at the end of a game, and Aaron Donald's impact on that game was bigger than anyone's. Just go back and watch the game and keep an eye on number 99. Perfect example was that last play of the game. Donald was not credited with the sack, but he was the reason that game ended when it did. But in the end, I was mostly happy with the outcome. I mean, I did have the Rams minus 3.5, which lost, but I also had the under on that game, and I also put in a parlay on the money line and the under as well. Hey, I'll take that, Anyways, sorry to carry on so long about the Super Bowl, but I'm sort of still in my decompression stage now that football season is officially over, and I just had to get that out of the system. But we are turning the page to basketball right now. So let's start off deep in the heart of Texas, where the Red Raiders are set to square off against the Longhorns. Texas is favored by 4 on FanDuel, and the total was at 125.5 when I last checked. These are two ranked opponents who are probably jockeying for higher seeds in the tourney at this point. But Texas Tech has a little bit more clout at the moment. So the Longhorns, they're going to be trying to bring their A game and add another win against a ranked opponent to add to their resume. Now, when the line originally opened, Texas was at minus 1.5, and I was thinking of taking the Longhorns. I do like them to win this game, but 4 points is where it's at when I last checked, and to give that many points to a rival opponent that ranks 11th in the nation, this should be a good game to start off your day, but I like the Red Raiders getting 4. I put the confidence level at 3 on this one. Taking a look at this game between Notre Dame and Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons are a 6-point favorite, and the total was at 141.5 with FanDuel when I last checked. I'm basically going back to the well on this game. Notre Dame has been good to me this year, and they are having a solid season. They didn't get off to a great start, but I think that actually helped them overcome a little bit of adversity, and they became better for it. They're playing some good ball, winning 9 of their last 10, and their only loss in that time was to Duke. There's no shame in that. So I will gladly take 6 points in this spot. Now, I should note that I just think that it's too many points to be giving a team that is playing as well as Notre Dame has. So, Wake Forest, they should be favored and they should win this game. But again, 6 points is too many. One of the coolest features about BettorOff is that you can follow people that are crushing the books absolutely free. One of the best places to find BettorOff users that are cashing in is on the rankings page. From there you can tap on any of those profile names, and if they have any picks that are in queue or coming up, you can see what's cooking. Next up, we got Bama heading to Kentucky to take on the Wildcats. The Wildcats are favored by 6.5, and the total was at 155 when I last checked on FanDuel. I have a feeling the numbers will be moving around a bit, so be sure to shop around. Number 4 ranked Kentucky is coming off of a loss to Tennessee, and they get to play at home versus a team they just beat in their house a couple weeks ago. Now, I remember that game pretty vividly because it was the only game that I missed on in that video. Now, I thought that Crimson Tide was going to take them straight up, but as I mentioned in that video, they're kind of an inconsistent team and they came out flat in that game. Well, hopefully we get another stale, inconsistent performance again, because I'm taking Kentucky laying those 6.5 points. In their last game, that they beat them by 11, and honestly, I don't think that the score really reflected the way that game played out. I think Kentucky takes care of business again. I rated this a 2. Now, if this spread drops down a point, I would raise the confidence to a 3 though. Our next game is the Volunteers making their way out to Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. Arkansas is a 2-point favorite, and the total is at 139 when I last checked. This game will be on ESPN. Both of these teams are coming in looking really good. They're playing very well. Tennessee is on a 5-game win streak, and as I just mentioned, they're coming off of a big win against number 4 ranked Kentucky. Now the Razorbacks, on the other hand, they've won 10 of their last 11, and adding another win against a ranked opponent would be an ideal thing to do. You know, it'd be a nice little feather in the cap to add. So this is the game I intend on having the most fun with, because I'm going to play this as a 2-leg parlay. I think Tennessee wins this game outright, but I'm still taking the 2 points for good measure, and I also like the over at 139. If it hits, it's going to pay back plus 264. Now for the late night creeping on a come-up bet, we got BYU taking on St. Mary's. The Gaels are favored by 6.5, and the total's at 134.5 on FanDuel. Both of these teams are capable of putting up points, but the last time they played, it was an ugly affair. They only managed to score 95 points combined. The total on that game closed at 132.5. It stayed under by almost 40 points. You would think that odds makers would have set this total even lower this time, but no, it's actually higher by a couple points. It seems like a fishy line to me, and I could end up being way off on this, but I like this game to go over 134.5, and I'm shooting my shot with a level 3 confidence on this one. Alright guys, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am not a college basketball expert. I put up decent numbers against the sportsbook in this area, but you should always do some of your own due diligence on any game that you wager on. Practicing good bankroll management and being a responsible bettor long term is more important than any one winning ticket. Anyways guys, you will start to see a steady increase of content from this channel. Much of it will be time sensitive, so make sure you subscribe and tap on that bell. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Until next time, best of luck banging on the books.